I'm no marriage expert, but I have been married long enough to garner some experience in knowing some of the things that are important and should be discussed within your marriage prior to the marriage even happening. Yes, prior. Things that you should discuss whilst there's still butterflies in your stomach, and as a man, you are deciding that this is the journey you want to take with this specific woman. Some of the things that I think should shape your relationship moving forward once you decide to take that further step, or once it becomes an idea in your mind. Some things you can't move forward without discussing. Of course, premarital counseling is important in this regard, where you'll discuss certain things that will help shape the format of your marriage, that will help shape the roles and give clarifications. But there's some things that depend only on you and your partner. Some things that you have to discuss, some things that you have to do prior to actually getting married. And one of the basic fundamentals is that you have to discuss your finances. What are your bills? And what are your partner's bills? What are their spending habits? What are your spending habits? What are your saving habits? What are their saving habits? What is your risk tolerance insofar as money is concerned? And what are their risk tolerance? Because that will also shape the marriage contract that you get into. Is it going to be anti-nuptial contract with accrual? Meaning everything you acquired prior to the wedding or to the marriage will be yours and yours alone, but everything you acquire together will help actually build your estate together. Will it be ANC without accrual, meaning till we forever go on, what I've acquired and are to acquire within the marriage is mine and remains mine, and vice versa as it pertains to you within the marriage as well, right? Or are you going to go the route of community of property, which is never really encouraged by people, but it works under dynamics where you are building everything together from scratch and no one has acquired so much more than the other that the disparity is so misaligned that it will play a big role. If I come with nothing, you come with nothing, then the marriage contract doesn't really matter insofar as the assets are concerned. But there are some benefits in the ANC process in terms of where the risk tolerance is high for one partner. Then issues such as debt won't be inherited by the other partner. Certain decisions will be made without you having to notify the other partner. But zoning into and digging deep into your finances, spending habits, your relationship with money is actually the most pivotal step and the most important thing that you need to discuss. Your relationship with credit is fundamentally important. If you like borrowing money because you are misusing money, if you don't stick to a budget, if you use money to impress other people instead of building an asset class for the future, if you're not interested in having a will, if you're not interested in building an estate that is full of assets rather than liabilities, if you're not interested in having life insurance, do you understand that those type of dynamics will probably convince you otherwise before you actually get to marry somebody? So finances are critical. When I was undergoing premarital counseling, our pastor actually told us that the number one leading cause of divorce is actually finances. It's not cheating and infidelity and sex. Those are actually the second causes of divorce. The number one, statistically wise, is finances. Where you don't agree on finances, where my money is my money, her money is her money type of relationship, those actually cause a lot of quarrels moving forward. Because the honeymoon stage is not forever. But the forever that will help remain in the relationship is how you communicate around money and how the relationship is between the two of you insofar as money is concerned. Are you business and entrepreneurial minded? And maybe they seek security and prefer a secure job, right? Those are the type of things that you need to discuss. So finances are pivotal. You have to discuss bills, credit, finances as a whole and holistically. And the most important thing is that you need to be upfront, you need to be honest, you need to be transparent, and you can't hide things under your sleeve if you want to get into a future-based relationship with this person where you are tied in by a contract such as a marriage contract. The next thing that you guys need to discuss, according to my opinion, is your parenting styles. Do you want someone who's super hands-on when it comes to the kids? Like, as a father, more often than not, the role of provision is put upon us, right? And so most of the time we go out hustling, trying to build up our finances and so on, but without neglecting the family component, because you're doing all that for the family. Unless if you're doing all that to impress people out there that don't necessarily care about you. But if you're gonna be honest with yourself, you are doing it for your family. And if that's the case, that simply means that you must prioritize and make sure that the way in which you parent, because the reason I'm starting with the presence element, you need to be secure in the fact that he'll be hustling all the time and you as a woman maybe will be taking care of the kids, or vice versa. He'll be a stay-at-home dad. It's important. And when it comes to disciplining the kids, do they get a spanking here and there? That's important. I know that my kids once a year must be reminded who's papa. If they go and forget the rules of the household, they go and forget the teachings and the discipline, and they become ill-disciplined to the point where just speaking to them is not enough. A spanking or two will do. I know what the law says, and I'm not going to go into the law in terms of giving your kids a hiding and so on. What happens between these closed doors and behind closed doors will stay here, because as a parenting style, it's fundamentally important that you don't spare the rod. You don't abuse them, but you don't spare the rod when the need is there. Up until the point where they get to understand, they get to grow, and you have a discussion with them saying, I have no reason to hit you again. You are at a point where you've grown enough, you understand, you are moral enough, and you make your own decisions. Unilaterally so. Your decisions aren't dependent on me and the impact that they're going to have on me as your parent. At that point, it's about the impact of the decisions on you and your life moving forward. So parenting styles are important, because if you don't believe in giving your kids a hiding now and then or spanking them, but you are with someone who does, then where's the middle ground? Are you ever going to compromise on it? Are they ever going to compromise on it? It's very important. Time spent with the kids. Are you the type of person who wants to be close-knit, a nuclear family where you eat dinner together all the time, day in, day out, and you have those conversations with your kids? Or are you just a disciplinarian? Those role clarifications when it comes to parenting have to be clear before you get into a full-time union such as marriage. So parenting styles are very important. Very important. Giving your kids the opportunity to talk to you and the like is very important. Who teaches the kids what? Very important. Who's domineering? Very important. The lessons that come out based on past life experiences, very important. Then you have to discuss your past traumas. None of us come from a background that is perfect and harmonious all the time. There is some level of trauma that you may have experienced that influences the person you are, how you behave, how you interact with people, and even how you love, how you share, how you see the future. There are certain traumas where it's important to discuss with your partner prior to getting into that relationship, right? Then you also have to discuss health-related history and dynamics. What are some of the illnesses that reign inherently within your family? In other words, that you can inherit or your kids can inherit. What are those type of scares? Does cancer run in the family? Does diabetes run in the family? Does high blood run in the family? Those type of things are things that you need to know. But also, if they run in the family, what are you doing about it as my partner, since you know they run in the family? have to discuss that. What are you doing about the fact that there are these illnesses that are coming in generation after generation, and you have seen it's because of lifestyle, perhaps with your grandparents or your parents and so on. What are you doing about it? That's also important, because if they know that there's something wrong health-wise and they do nothing about it, then how are you trusting them with the lineage of your entire offspring? So you have to discuss the past in terms of health and how long people live in the family. How long is their life expectancy, right? And the genealogy, the genes, the DNA. What are the good attributes? What are the bad attributes? You need to be open and transparent about that too, right? Religious beliefs, traditional beliefs, your belief system that has shaped and molded you into who you are. That's another important aspect that you need to discuss with your partner prior to actually going into the union of marriage. A misalignment often leads to a tumultuous relationship in the future, largely because it's not easy to adapt to a whole new religion. Say, for example, I'm Christian and my partner is Muslim. When it comes to now the religious beliefs, I would need to leave Christianity and go into Islam for me to be able to marry this woman. I would have to know and understand the Quran. I would have to believe in Allah and the Prophet Muhammad, and I would have to forsake all other beliefs that I've had prior to going into that union with this particular individual. And that goes to even how my diet will be influenced, because perhaps due to haram, there's no pork that they eat. But I grew up eating pork. I enjoy pork. Some nice some nice pork chops, right? Some nice full pork, some nice pork ribs. I enjoy those type of things. And just by virtue of the religion, now my diet itself is completely influenced and would have to collapse and can't be the way I know it. So you have to discuss religious beliefs. Even if you're both Christian, what are the denominations that you are both believing in? Is it Roman Dutch? Is it Anglican? Is it Amapostile? Is it ZCC? Is it Gwashembe? Is it now these new age churches, the charismatic churches? Is it those? You have to discuss those type of things. You have to be in tune and aligned, because as time moves on, trust me, people become so entrenched and the religious belief becomes so embedded in them that you won't change their mind. No matter how much they love you, you won't change their mind. So rather discuss it early. Rather discuss it before you go into the union of marriage. Because even as far as funerals are concerned, it will influence. As far as the things you celebrate in your household, it will influence. So it's very critical that you discuss the religious aspect of life. Then also the traditionalist related beliefs. Do they believe in ancestors, amadlozi, and the like? Do they or don't they? Right? There has to be an alignment there, because the language has to speak to one another, or else one will be turned off when the other speaks of the other subject, and then it starts ripping at the relationship. Just a little bit, just a tad bit. But the ripple effect of those minor tears, as they add up to one another, as they accumulate, and as you amortize that tearing and tearing and tearing, it becomes, something that is probably not tolerable in the end. So you have to discuss that important aspect. Then relationships. How do you deal with family dynamics? How do you deal with conflict? Do you think the other partner will be able to assimilate into your family dynamic, your family culture, how you guys do things, the relation between yourself and your mother? Maybe there's bad blood. Listen to what they say. Listen to the type of advice they give. Listen to how they're trying to build or mend whatever broken relationship may be happening at that particular point in time prior to you guys being married. Is there something that forms a congruency between you and their family and vice versa? It's important because once you get married, then the belief system is that two families are coming together. You are taking the woman from her family, you've paid ilobola, and then you follow the custom route, and then they come here, and then there has to be an understanding of how they're going to assimilate into your family. Konukotiza, for example, where your recent wife, newlywed, will go and stay at your mother's house for a good month, where she's supposed to be learning the teachings of your culture. She's supposed to be, learning about you, your past, and your vision, but through the lens of your family. Some families do it, some families don't. So you need to establish how you're going to deal with such dynamics prior to it happening. Everything is prior to you going to ask for their hand in marriage. Everything happens prior to that. So you need to discuss those actual dynamics. What beliefs are you going to be instilling in your children? Another important thing you need to instill. Are you going to be building their confidence? What is most important to you or your partner insofar as the kids are concerned? How many children are you even aiming on having? Family planning. Have you discussed that prior to going into the union? Perhaps you only want one child. She wants 4. Or you want 3, she wants 2. There needs to be that type of discussion so that you can see who's going to compromise and the like. And what if you do want that number, but you can't have kids? What are you going to go do there? Are you open to a surrogacy? Are you open to me getting another wife? Are you open? Those type of dynamics. And if I'm the one with the problem, are we open to adoption? Are we open to you, going to a sperm bank? Are we open to you perhaps sleeping with another man whose genes and journey I know and followed, or someone within my family? Those type of dynamics. It's things that are hypothetical but are happening. They are hypothetical for me because they don't apply, but they are happening, and those are the types of dynamics that need to be discussed. More often than not, cheating is what happens under those circumstances. But if you guys discussed the possibilities, the likelihood and the probabilities of such things happening, then it's -1, because at least you've discussed it. Whether now you're going to go through with it or not, at least, because belief systems do change also with time. But the fact that there was a foundation, and the other person won't likely just jump to the conclusion of doing something silly that may jeopardize or compromise your marriage moving forward, right? What are the sexual expectations? When you go into it and you're still in the relationship and it's the honeymoon stage and the blood is boiling, you probably have sex a lot. You probably have sex 5 times a week. Now, realistically, as time goes on, that fizzles down. And as it fizzles down, at least communicate your sexual expectations. I love, I miss you. Can we at least have sex 2 a week, 3 times a week? You understand? Doesn't need to be hectic, full 5 rounds every time we have sex. Nah, I can handle 2 rounds. Those are the types of dynamics and discussions that you need to have. You need to be open with each other. You can't be shy now. Once you guys get married, if it wasn't a belief system that you're not going to have sex before marriage and you're already having sex, at least discuss that when things change, when kids come into the picture, what is the other partner's expectation? And also be open and transparent about it. You don't need to be rude. You don't need to be sad. Just communicate how you feel. And then the other person must receive that, must process that, and must move forward with the thought that they get the position that you are coming from. They get how you are feeling. They are empathetic to your feelings, and they are able to share their side as well. Then there'll be some sort of middle ground, right? So sexual expectations are things that also need to be discussed. Then there's partner expectations. You need to discuss those type of things. What are some of the expectations that you have of me? Because a lot of the things that get broken within marriage, it's largely because there were expectations that were not communicated. You did not communicate your expectations. And that's when I don't do what it is you expected. You expected me to read your mind and think that it's obvious. Duh. I mean, duh. We just ate. I expect you to wash the dishes. Duh. Instead of dishes sitting there for 2 days. No, communicate your expectations when you see that there are things that are wrong that you are picking up and that don't align with how you want to do things. Your partner must know what it is you expect of them, and she must know what to expect from you as well. So you must know her expectations, she must know your expectations as well. Then things like your bucket list. Perhaps you like being stable, staying in one place and harmonizing with that particular environment. You probably love nature or the farm environment, but they love the city, But because you met and you clicked, you forget to discuss those things. Where are we going to stay? What is our dream house going to look like? Right? Perhaps they like traveling and you don't. But how do we meet each other in the middle, right? They like holidays, you don't. Or you like simplicity in terms of holidays, and they like a cruise where it's a bash all the time. You have to express those type of expectations. You have to discuss those particular things. They will build your relationship and move you in a direction that is positive, because you'll be aligned to their dreams and they'll be aligned to yours, and you'll see where you can meet each other halfway. You'll see where you can assist each other. You'll see where you can build each other and where you can grow with each other. The bucket list coming to the fore in the early days is actually crucial, because there's also something called spousal jealousy. Now, spousal jealousy is where when you are doing well within your marriage, your partner is not happy for you and is not supportive of that progress. Instead, they are competing with you. So the discussion of your dreams and bucket list early on, and then you see whether there's an alignment with where they are headed as well, it helps. Because it takes away some of those components and you are able to plan. But okay, since we both have this dream of studying, but there are financial constraints, you can start, do your 2 years, 3 years, then I'll follow, do my 2 years, 3 years, and we play by that cycle based on what it is you're studying, what it is I'm studying, and how can we help each other, how can I assist you where you need assisting in terms of resources, time, me focusing on the kids while you're studying. Those particular type of aspects need to be discussed. But your dreams can't be put on hold fully just because you are going to get married. If you have dreams, communicate them, formulate a plan together, organize your life, and then lead yourselves together in the positive direction of dealing with that. So that aligns again with career and education expectations. Then I think the last one that I can discuss here is political views. Obviously, in South Africa, we're not as politically immersed in it, unlike in a place like America, where there's your conservatives, the far left, the far right, and they are so entrenched and immersed in their political views and system that it outweighs other aspects of their life, even in the relationship, right? But discuss them early. Perhaps you are EFF, they are ANC. Maybe there's an alignment there. Let me make another example. Perhaps you are DA and they are EFF. Now, with that type of discrepancy, with that type of misalignment, then obviously there may be challenges, dependent also on how deeply entrenched they are. So it's important to know how much they follow politics, how much it matters to them, how it influences their decisions, and how they build based on whatever political lessons that they acquire over time. What is their political view, and how set are they on those politics? And how will those politics influence your relationship? Because just those minimum influences will influence your future within the marriage as well. So politics does play a role, because politics is everywhere. belief systems are everywhere. When it's now time to vote, are they going to be out there campaigning or not? You need to know those type of things. So those are the type of lessons that I want you, my starters, to think about, discuss with the people that you love, and then hopefully there'll be something positive that comes out of this video. And I hope that there's lessons that you've acquired or can take forward, or I hope that I've given you something to at least think about. I hope that I've given you something to at least think about, because marriage is meant to be a lifetime contract, and there are meant to be challenges that come with the decision to get married. So I love you, I appreciate you, my starters, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.